Hello, my name is Joshua Ojo. I'm the founder and chief executive officer of Isabbi. Isabbi is Nigeria's first digital platform for buying and selling of businesses. At Isabbi, we offer a lot of services to our clients, and some of the services we offer include advisory, valuation, and escrow services. My journey into buying and selling of businesses started as a deal maker. I've been involved in several deals in Nigeria, in New York, and in other Africa countries. At ExxonMobil, I was part of the team that delivered the funding that we tagged Cash for Crude, a $800 million financing round for the satellite field development project for crude oil. We were able to negotiate that deal using crude oil to pay for cash. It was negotiated with some international banks in New York and other parts of the world. That was my first deal that I was actually involved in. The other deal that I was also involved in ExxonMobil was negotiating an NGL. NGL simply means natural gas liquid, the propane, the butane, and the pentane. We negotiated that for cash with international banks as well. That was easier because of the lessons we learned from the satellite feed phase 1. Satellite feed phase 1 was very challenging. It was challenging because international banks were a bit skeptical. What are they going to do? They were not into oil and gas. We advised them to sell the contract to oil lifting companies. That's crude oil lifting companies, which they did, and they made good margin out of it, taking our advice. It was very profitable for everybody at the end of the day. Having done those two deals, I was now drafted to be a business analyst in ExxonMobil in the IT section precisely. When I came in, I saw $102 million outstanding in global bills payments. My negotiation skills in the first two deals that I have done as an alternative finance professional, I was able to put through that deal, and I got the joint venture partners to approve 120 million global technology charges. Those three deals I did at ExxonMobil opened my eyes to opportunities that other companies can benefit from. And when I left ExxonMobil, I find myself working with Cedar Street Capital, a New York investment banking boutique firm. At Cedar Street Capital, I was involved in negotiating a deal for a startup Korean company that was into microchips. So we were able to raise $20 million US for them in New York. That was a very good deal. The initial challenge was convincing them that this startup had the required capacity and capability to deliver. At the end of the day, we were able to use some of their previous experiences, the experiences of the founder. For example, this founder had over 20 years experience in the microchip industry. We used that to negotiate the deal, and it was approved. Having done those first three deals, my confidence grew, and I came back to Nigeria and I started doing deals in Nigeria. The first few deals I did was to raise $10 million each for two fintech companies who were into the payment processing space. The CBN had just issued what we call the PSP license, payment service provider license, to these fintech companies, but they needed the fund to establish and to grow the market in Nigeria. I was involved in this transaction. I pitched them with some companies in Switzerland and also in New York. And at the end of the day, though they didn't get the fund, but the experience was worth it because of some lessons that we learned. They weren't able to get the fund because the firm in New York was not actually willing to let go finance for a company that was in Nigeria, because at that point in time they believed that these are fresh licenses and they didn't see a lot of potential with it, despite trying to convince them otherwise. Companies like First Data in the US also had this initial problem, and they were able to skate through, and today they are renowned companies. And since they didn't get that funding, we moved on to others. I was also able to raise funds for a card processing company. In Nigeria, we had this FX issue, and the FX issue was such that it was affecting businesses. Local businesses could not access foreign exchange to bring in goods that was required, particularly raw materials for processing. Here comes a fintech company that was ready to provide them with a card that they can use to do foreign transactions, and the fintech company needed $10 million. I was able to work with them, and they got funding, and today it was a win-win for both of them and also for the clients. Then, having done a lot of this in Nigeria, SBFO headhunted me and said I should be their director for Africa, and and I took on that challenge because I like it, and it was an interesting one that I need to do in the deal space. So as director of Africa, I was able to do a lot of deals for SBFO across Africa. I brought transactions from Zambia, for example, Zamgoat. Zamgoat was mainly into production, processing, packaging, and sale of their products, which in this case was really a good deal. And I also came in contact with a firm in Benin Republic. Benin Republic is close to Nigeria. A company from there approached me. They were into local production of solar system, and they needed money to scale. They needed growth capital, so we were able to raise the $1 million for them. This and many others are some of the deals that I have done across the world, in New York, in Nigeria, and other parts of Africa. These experiences have actually sharpened my deal making abilities, and they prepare me to be the best candidate for any company in Nigeria.